Alright, Drive Radio fans, John Rush, your host. Richard, my son, behind the camera. He did the short review, which you can always watch. It's always right next to our long reviews. This will be the long review of the 2014 Prius 5. Now, this particular Prius has a few extra features on it. Jumps the price up. This car, as it sits, is around $38,000. One thing you'll notice right off the bat, the ground effects, which you'll see down below. Also has bigger 17-inch wheels and tires. They're kind of an argent color over here on the side. Kind of gives the car more of a sporty look. I did get some comments that people like the look of this Prius over a standard Prius. Priuses aren't the best looking cars anyways. I'm sorry, Toyota. It's not meant to be. It's a wedge going through the wind, trying to get the aerodynamics as best as possible. And we've averaged 53.4 miles per gallon in this car, and I do a lot of highway driving, so 54 miles to the gallon roughly, and it probably will even do better than that if you stayed just in town. So it does exactly what a Prius is designed to do. You know, take a little walk around the rest of it. Again, it's a Prius. There's not much to tell you about it. It is what it is. They've done some things to make the drag coefficient as low as possible. You can see all of that, from fluting around the back to how they've done the spoiler in the rear to the bumps in the roof. You name it. Toyota has done a tremendous job of getting this car to cut the air as much as possible to help get that wind resistance down to a minimum, to get the mileage up as much as possible. Again, it's a Prius. We're going to go for a ride. Stay with us, and when we come back, we'll do the interior portion of the review. All right, folks, we're in the driving portion now, and hope you enjoyed a little intro there. A couple of things I want to show you on the Prius Hybrid. As you can tell right now, we're running, but the engine's not running. We're just sitting here. The battery's got good charge to it. We're 3/4 full. I can look at the dash. I know that. That part of it I've got determined. I'm going to switch to the energy level here, where you can actually see. It's hard to see in here, but you can see the energy level. We're not running. Nothing's running. Okay, I'm going to put it in gear, and this is how a Prius works. So you just push on the brake. I reach over and put it in drive. The door is just locked. I now release the brake, and we're going to take off. And you can tell it's extremely quiet. The engine has not started. You can see here how that works. I can go to the EV mode right here, which means as long as I stay under 25 miles an hour, the engine itself will not kick on, and I can use total battery power. So we're going to drive down here for just a little bit. I'll keep it under the 25. So, you know, if you're in a parking garage or your neighborhood or someplace like that, and I just got above the mile an hour, it asked me to stay under, and it deactivated the eco mode. Now I'm still in electric motor power only, and I want to show you how the regenerative braking works when we get around here in just a moment. I'm going to switch this right now to the B, and I'm going to talk about that a little later in the review also, but I'm going to go to B. And what that means is when I go downhill, it's going to automatically do more braking for the car than it typically would, which again is kind of a cool feature if you live in the mountains. So right now you can see I'm taking the, oops, sorry about that. Let's go back to that real quick. We'll go back to the info, and we'll go back to fuel consumption. You're going to see right now I'm regenerative braking, which means all of the braking is going to power back up the battery. It's to charge the battery. And I'm not stepping on the brake right now. That's doing that automatically. If I step on the brake, it even adds a little more to it. But effectively, when I'm in this B mode on the gear shift selector, it's helping me with some braking, and it's regenerating that energy from the brakes and the slowing down of the car back into the battery to help charge it up. And then I just step on the gas a little bit, and it's going to reverse this in a second, and it's going to go back the other direction. And if I get on it really hard, you're going to see the engine fire up, which it just did. And now we're running off a battery and the engine itself. And they actually have a power mode in this car, which, by the way, actually works very well. The Prius actually has a lot more power than most people will give it credit for. A lot of people will laugh when you pull up next to a Prius. Some of you hot rodders out there, be careful of that, because some of these Priuses actually run pretty darn well. You get this in the power mode with battery and engine both getting you going, and they actually run and accelerate pretty darn well, because the electric motor will let you take off from a stop pretty fast. So they actually work very well. This particular car, again, with the lowered suspension, ground effects, and the wheels, and the other things that are on this car as far as the nav and stuff, add about $8,000 to it, but it actually makes this car pretty fun, sporty little Prius to drive. If I was going to buy a Prius, this would be the model that I would drive, just because it's a lot more sporty and fun to drive. But again, keep watching the review. We're going to come back, take you through the interior, and if you want to know more about the Prius, just go to Toyota's website, check it out. We'll have a link there on our website, which makes it really easy for you to find. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the driving portion. As we always say, you need to get in this car, drive it for yourself. You know, we're giving you a video description of the drive. You need to go get in the car yourself. Back hatch is open. privacy screen in the back. There is good room. Of course, underneath is where all the batteries and such are stored inside the hybrid. I'm not sure that we can even look at any of that. We might be able to. There might just be another, yeah, there's just another compartment underneath here, which is the barrier between, which again gives you room to store some things underneath, kind of a pocket, if you would, which helps out. These seats also do fold down to give you more cargo room in the back of the hatchback, which again, this is the Prius 5. They make a bigger Prius, they make a smaller Prius, but this is the Prius 5. Let me show in the back seat here, room. This seat, by the way, is all the way back. We do that on purpose so you guys can see how much room you've got. So you can see this seat all the way back, and I still have decent legroom. So there's a fair amount of room in the back seat. Of course, the floor is nice and flat, which gives you nice room for the person in the middle if you do have somebody in the middle. Again, plain Jane. All the materials inside of a Prius, by the way, if you're really into it, you know, they're all recyclable type materials. In other words, they're all environmentally friendly. This is not leather. It's Toyota's, you know, environmentally friendly version of vinyl, I guess you would say. It's not a leather surface, but again, very comfortable, very soft, works well. But back seat, you know, again, nice size. Let's hop around to the front. Richard, you can get in the front seat, and I'll jump around this other side. And the inside of a Prius is the inside of a Prius. For those of you that maybe have never seen the inside of a Prius, you know, it is what it is. I'll turn the car on, which you saw in the driving portion anyways, but I'll just go ahead and fire it up. All of your screen and what you get to see is up in front of you, which again, we showed you in the driving portion, but we can get a little bit more zeroed in on it now. They've got a full Entune system in this particular car. There's our mileage readings that we had. You just heard the car start up. It'll do that to charge the battery momentarily until you decide to take off. Not the normal gear shift lever. One thing that this car has, and we talked about it in the driving portion, is the regenerative braking, which you can actually institute by manual by going to the B mode here. You can actually just shift this down. In fact, I was with a journalist one time that didn't realize that on a Prius, not only does it help regenerate the braking and it adds juice back into the battery, it's a great tool to actually slow the vehicle down without using the brakes, which actually works out really, really well. So again, just the inside of a Prius, nothing fancy. You know, if you enjoy Prius and you like getting 50+ miles to the gallon, this would be your car. It does cut the wind relatively well. The downside to the Prius, and Toyota, if you're listening, I know this is just the way it is because you're trying to get the car as light as possible to get the fuel economy up. This car is noisy. In fact, I was talking on the phone the other day to Richard, who's behind the camera now, and he knew right away what I was driving before I even told him what I was driving, because inside of this car, when you're talking on the phone, it is much, much louder than you're going to get in another type of a sedan of equal size, shape, form, etc. So this car is noisy. They've done that to make it light. You know, one of the ways, and I can demonstrate that, is if you listen careful enough, it just sounds tinny. When you shut the door, it's not a solid sound. It's got kind of this tinny sound to it. And again, that's because they've got this car as light as possible. But if you want to know more about the Prius, go to their website, go to Toyota's website. Just go type in Prius in your Google search and you'll come right to Toyota's website, learn more about it. But again, is this a good car? Yeah, it's a great car. You know, Toyota has pioneered the hybrid. They do a fantastic job. They're switching between, you know, regular battery to engine to back and forth. It's as seamless as anybody's system out there, and it works extremely well. Again, they have been a pioneer of it, and they have sold, you know, a ton of these Prius models. It's been a solid car for them, really been a staple. But hey, listen to us every Saturday. We talk about this and many other cars on our show. Drive Radio, 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can catch us on the TuneIn app. You can also catch us live and stream it from 560thesource.com, or you can listen to any of our podcasts. They're all on SoundCloud. Just do a search for Drive Radio. In the search bar of SoundCloud, you'll find all of our podcasts. But hey, keep tuning in, keep watching us, subscribe to our channel, Drive Radio. If you found us in another way, go to YouTube, search bar, Drive Radio, subscribe. It'll tell you anytime we've got a new video up. And again, thanks for watching. We'll be back very soon with another review.